Yes, so we are seeing how to represent a matrix in Python. So in Python, we have seen that a matrix is represented by using the concept of sublist. A list inside a sublist is used to represent a matrix. So what is name of the list in this case? Name of the list is my matrix. See here, I have given the name of the list as my matrix. So if I write this statement, what will be the output? I hope you remember the end clause. If I write this statement, what will be the output? What will it print? It must print every element in the list. So this list contains sublists. So those sublists are represented over here. So for the first iteration of this loop, I is equal to 0 will point to the first row of the matrix. When I is equal to 1, it will point to the second row of the matrix. When I is equal to 2, it will point to the third row of the matrix. And when I equal to 3, it will point to the last row, that is the fourth row of this matrix. Is this clear to all? So when we use a for loop in this fashion to display a list, the list has sublists, then I will point to each row in the sublist. Is this clear to all? If there are 5 rows in this matrix, how many sublists will I have? If there are 5 rows supposed to be in a matrix, how many sublists will I declare? Yes, only Yash is answering. If there are 5 rows in a matrix, I want a matrix with 5 rows. Then while defining the matrix, how many sublists will I define inside the matrix? Yes, everybody try to answer. Tell me the number. Don't worry about index position. Tell me how many sublists. Like in this case, we are having 4 sublists to represent 4 rows. Now, when I want to represent a matrix with 5 rows, how many sublists will I define it in the program? Yes, 5. Yes, Unnati. I hope it is clear. Don't get confused with index. Shubham, Khaire, Harshita. If the number of sublists in the matrix is equal to number of rows in the matrix. So number of sublists in the matrix, see, I'll write it here once again. Number of sublists in the list is equal to the number of rows in the matrix. Is it clear? You need to note down that indexing starts from 0. Is it clear to everyone? Are these 3 points clear to everyone? When you are representing a matrix in Python, Then as per the first point we have discussed, the matrix is represented in form of list and sublists. Then second point says that if there are n number of rows in a matrix, then there will be n number of sublists in the matrix. And Python follows this for everything, for every data structure it is using. Indexing starts from 0. Yes. Is it clear to everyone? Have you understood these 3 points? Then we'll proceed on how to display this matrix and how to accept elements from user. Shall I proceed ahead? Yes, Akasmit, Ayush Bairagi, Asha Deshpande, Apurav, Sachin Pawar, Mayur Sangre. Shall I proceed with this? Are these 3 points clear to everyone? Vedant Vyavhare. Yes, sublists are same as nested lists. So you can use the word nested list also. So instead of using sublist, you can use the word nested list. It means the same. Yes, it is the same. Nested list or sublist. It means the same. If you have used that terminology earlier, then you can use the word nested list. Okay. So now I want to display this matrix. So first we'll see how to display the matrix. So to display a list as it is represented in form of a list, we use such notation to display a list. For I in the name of the list, print I. So this is the output we get when we execute the for loop. For I in this list, print I separated by spaces. So this is displayed. So this is obvious because I itself is a sublist or a nested list. So the first time the for loop executes, I will point to this first nested list. Second time I will be equal to this nested list. Third time it will be equal to this nested list. Then next time it will be equal to this nested list. So here I can say that I will represent a row. Can I say, is it true? Can I say this? I will represent a row in the matrix. See, I am going very slowly because you have to write a program for all these things and you are new to this. So I am going very slowly for this. So try to understand the things and ask me any doubts by posting your answers in the chat box. So I will represent a row. So this, when this for loop is executed, in every iteration, I represents this whole row at a time. Now inside this for loop, if I write a nested for loop, so for j in I print J. What will be the output? For J in I, print J. Now I is what? I is this sublist. And what will J represent? J will represent every element in the sublist. So J will represent these individual elements in the list. So now when I display it, I'll execute the program. I display it. The output, in the output you can see individual elements displayed. It is not displayed as a list or a nested list. Now I'll do only one change over here. I will add one print statement with a new line character. So print statement with a new line character is added over here. And then let us observe the output. Yes. Does it appears in a matrix format? Yes or no? Is it appearing in a matrix format? Yes. So using such nested for loops, you can access individual elements in the matrix. Or using such nested for loops, you can perform different operations on each element of the matrix. Is it clear? So now tell me, when I execute this loop, so for the first iteration, I equal to 0. So this is what? I equal to 0. This is I. This is I equal to 1. I equal to 2. And I equal to 3. For I equal to 1, whenever this inner for loop is executed, how many times this inner for loop will execute? When I is equal to 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, how many times will the inner for loop execute? Can you analyze and tell me? How many times will this inner for loop execute? Yes, everybody try to answer. Aditya and Harshika have answered. Not overall. Yes, you are right. But in each iteration, for I is equal to 0, how many times will the inner for loop execute? For I is equal to 1, how many times the inner for loop will execute? 3, 4, and so on. Yes, 4 times, because it has to display this 4 elements. So J will vary from index number 0 to 3. So it will execute 4 times in this situation. Now I make a change over here. See, now observe what I am doing. I am making changes over here where I have defined the matrix. And I will execute the program. Now tell me how many times the inner for loop executes for every value of I. How many times the inner for loop executes? Yes. Yes, correct. Shubham, Shruti, Chandan, Srushti, Aditya, Yash. And okay, yes. Yes, you all are correct. So can I say that as I represents row, can I say J represents columns? Will J represent columns in the matrix? Will J represent columns in the matrix? So in this matrix, there were 3 columns from 0, 1, 2, 3 index positions. 0, 1, 2 index position. So this J varied 3 times. If there were 5 columns, it will vary, or if the inner for loop will execute 5 times. If there are 6 columns, the inner for loop will execute 6 times. Are you able to understand? So if we use a sub list to represent a matrix and such nested for loops to access each element of the matrix, then let me use now appropriate variable names. We can use a variable R as the outer for loop is executed for number of rows, and we can use a variable C over here as the inner for loop represent number of columns in the rows. Yes, see, I will revise it once again. The first thing we saw that the matrix is represented as a sublist. Now second thing we are seeing how to access individual elements of the matrix, because we want to perform different operations: addition, multiplication, subtraction, transpose, inverse, and many other operations on the matrix. So how to access those individual elements? So we know that we use a for loop to access all the elements in the list in such fashion. So this is a 2-dimensional matrix or a list with sublists. So outer for loop will represent the sublists present in the list, means it will represent all the rows, and we are using an inner for loop which will execute for the number of columns, means number of elements present in each sublist, and this statement will access all the individual elements of the list. So outer for loop represents rows of the matrix, inner for loop represents columns of the matrix, and we can write statements like this print statement, which is printing individual element of the list or of the matrix. Is it clear, Rajeshri? Yes, any other doubts? Yes, any other doubts, students? Shall we proceed ahead with the program? Yes, everyone. Yes, any doubts? Is anybody having any doubts? Yes, yes, correct, Samiksha. Okay. Yes, okay. So we'll proceed over here. Now, this matrix which is represented, it is defined by default in the program, but it is not expected that your program must work in this fashion. It is expected that you accept these values, whatever are the values, you accept it from user. So every time you execute the program, you must accept number of rows user wants to define, number of columns for the matrix, and accept these values from the user. This is how your program must execute. So you must accept these values from the user. So to accept these values from the user, how can we proceed? So to proceed with it, we can accept number of rows from user. So we can ask the user to enter number of rows. Then we can ask user to enter number of columns. So user will enter number of rows and number of columns. Then what we must do, we must, instead of using such notation, we must initialize this matrix of these rows into columns with zeros. And how to initialize a matrix with zeros? By using such for loops. So my matrix equal to 0 for, so this is a sublist. So sublist starts, so every element in the sublist must be equal to 0 for j in range 0 till number of columns which user has entered. And how many such sublists I must have? The number of rows which user has entered over here. Understood? So this statement will create a matrix, will create a sublist structure initialized with 0. Why zeros? Because here we have written zeros. So for each sublist, there will be how many number of zeros? Column number of zeros. This column is entered by user. And how many such sublists we will have? The one represented by number of rows which user has entered in this statement. Yes. So now first let us display, check whether it works correctly. So I'll execute the program, run the program. See in the output it is asking enter number of rows. So I say number of rows are 3. Okay, there is some mistake. Input with an S. Okay. So I'll again execute it. Suppose number of rows are 3, number of columns are 3. See, it created a 3 by 3 matrix with all zeros. Have you all understood? This for loop is displaying the matrix and this statement is creating a matrix initialized with 0. Why 0? Because here I have written 0. If I write 1 over here, what will happen? What will happen if I write 1 over here? Yes, can you tell me? If I write 1, if I make a change, write a 1 over here, what will happen? For this statement, if I write a 1 instead of 0, what will happen? Yes, very good, Omkar, Harshika. Yes, Aditya. Yes, a matrix will be created by this number of rows and columns, and all elements will be initialized to 1. I'll again run the program. Say I want 5 rows but only 2 columns. Yes, it is working correctly. Yes. So now before we proceed with the program, let us write a program with menus and functions, and then go on adding different menus and functions to the program. So we accept number of rows and columns. Then we can print a menu to user saying one option, press 1 for display. I hope you recall this. We have seen it last time. Press 2 to enter. Yes, 2 to enter elements in the matrix. Then press 3 to add, or we'll say 3 later. Then enter your choice. So user will enter either 1, 2 or 3. So it will be ch as input. User will enter a choice. Then we can have an if loop. So if ch equal to 1, what will I do? Will display a matrix. So use proper indentation over here to display a matrix. Have you understood this? And this has to be kept in a while loop while ch is less than 3, because we are having only 2 choices over here. Or to keep it more simple, to add elements, we can have add elements, add matrices, print third choice to subtract matrices, and so on. So what change will I make over here? While loop, what change will I make? Now I have 3 choices. So what change will I make in the while loop over here? Yes, very good, Mayur, Harshipa, Chandan. Choice must be less than 4. Yes, good, Akasmit. Okay, and we'll accept the matrix before this to keep it simple. You can have one more menu to accept a matrix, and this must also be inside the while loop. So this is all inside a while loop. Before the while loop, initialize ch to a default value. Now how to accept values in the matrix? how to accept values in the matrix. Yes. Now we have initialized the matrix with all zeros. Now we have to accept the values from the user. So now suppose I will use the same logic for loop of the for loop. Yes, I'll use the same for loop. But instead of this print, I accept values from user. Will it work? So I have this for loop. And here time being. Okay, this must be rows. Now we have used proper variables and columns. So now print I just print a statement, enter element then I display R rows means here. Okay, for rows in matrix. Okay, let us keep it as R only and columns in C. Enter elements in matrix. In just a minute, I am having a technical difficulty. There is a network lag over here. Just a minute. Yes. So here for each row in the matrix and for each column in that row, we accept an element from user. So it is say a value x equal to int input enter element. And how will I add this element into the list? How to add an element into the list? Do you recall how to add an element into the list? Don't worry about this nested list. Do you recall how to add an element into the list? Yes. How to add it? Yes.
Ma'am, with indexing position.
Yes. I cannot hear you. Yes, who was talking? Do you have any doubts? Yes, we can use, yes, Jay is saying we can use append function. Yes, very good, Jay. Or Omkar and Aditya is suggesting we can use actual index positioning to represent it. Yes, you are correct. We can use such notations. Yes. Do you recall append function in the list? Do you recall append? Append function. What is use of append function in the list? Everyone. Append is used to insert an element in the list. So if I say yes, yes, Omkar, you are correct. So if I say append, will the program work? So if I say append over here, list dot append, will the program work? Or will it add an element into the list? If I want to add at particular position, Yes. Yes, screen sharing is paused. Okay. Okay, let me check. Yes, you can also use insert. Do you know difference between insert and append function for a list? What is difference between insert and append function for a list? Yes. Yes, others. Yes, good. Omkar, Jay, Yash, Harshika is also correct. Yes, append adds at the end of the list. Insert adds at a particular position in the list. So you can use insert instead of append, or you can use a for loop like this. Now as we know number of rows and columns in the list, so you can use a for loop for for C equal to varies in range 0 to rows, means 0 to rows minus 1, for C varying in range 0 to columns minus 1, and you accept an element from user. And here what will you write over here? Matrix. Can I write such notations over here for list? If such notations allowed for list like mathematics R comma C, are such notations allowed over here? Yes. So let us execute the program. So I'll run the program. So it accepts number of rows. Suppose I say 2 rows and 2 columns. So enter elements. Now it is executing this for loop and asking me to enter elements. So I enter elements. Suppose I have 1 first, 2, 3 and 4. And then suppose I want to display the list. So when these choices are made visible on the screen, I press 1 to display, and it is displayed. Is the list properly displayed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it displayed? We can shift this menu on the new line. Is the matrix displayed on the screen? Can you see 1, 2, 3, 4 displayed properly on the screen? Yes, everyone, are you getting it? Yes, everybody. Okay. So this is how we accept elements in a list. So in our program, we have to create 2 matrices. We have to create 2 matrices. Matrix A and B, or matrix 1, matrix 2, whatever you call it, and perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, transpose, and if possible, other operations on those 2 matrices. So how will you create 2 matrices? So these codes, these lines of codes, accepting number of rows, columns, initializing the matrix with 0, and using such for loops to accept a matrix, will accept one matrix. Now you can repeat these statements once again to accept 2 matrices. So I'll write it once again. See, I am purposely typing the program and not showing you the program which is already done. So I will name them M1 rows, M1 columns. So my matrix 1, and here also give appropriate names, M1 columns, M1 rows, here M1 columns, and here M1, and my matrix 1. Use appropriate naming conventions. Here I can use M2 rows, M2 columns, and my matrix 2, M2 columns, M2 rows, and this is again M2 rows, M2 columns, and this is matrix 2, and you can have print statements at the beginning for matrix 1, and again a print statement over here for matrix 2. And in the display you can have a similar for loop for displaying second matrix, so that your program displays both the matrix. This is matrix 1, this is matrix 2. So now let us see this, whether this whole thing works. So what changes have we made? So in the program we are creating two matrices, accepting rows and columns of first matrix, initializing the first matrix to 0 and accepting its values from user. Then for the second matrix, accepting its number of rows and columns, initializing it to 0. This must be 0. And then accepting its values from user, and then displaying both the matrix under display menu. So I'll run the program. So the program is executed. So in the output we can see, I hope you can see the output, black window. For matrix 1, enter number of rows. Suppose I want 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, there is some mistake, a spelling mistake. M1 columns is repeated. So I'll again execute the program once again. So 2 rows, 2 columns, number of elements. I keep all the elements as 1 for first matrix, and 2 rows and 2 columns, and second matrix, suppose I keep all the elements as 2 for simplicity, and then choice 1 to display the matrix. Are the matrices displayed properly? Matrix 1 and matrix 2, are they displayed properly? Yes. Are the matrices displayed properly? So here you can have print statement. Okay. Yes. So print statement can be added over here. Print matrix 1, and then here you can have print matrix 2, and this must also start from a new line. So let us run it once again. So number of rows are 2, columns 2, elements 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our first matrix. For second matrix, I again have, say, I want 4 by 4 matrix, and I enter elements. Yes, these are some random elements which I am entering. Yes. Yes. How many elements will it accept? 4 by 4. So 16 elements. So displayed. So this is matrix 1 and then this is matrix 2, 4 by 4 matrix. Yes. Is it clear to everyone how to display a matrix? Now to do some more advanced programming in it, we can write functions to display matrix, to add matrices, to subtract matrices. So let us write a function for it at the beginning of the program and do modifications to the program. Yes, so how to write a function? Do you recall? Define name of the function, display. What parameters will you pass to the display function? What parameters will you pass for the display function? Yes, think and tell me what parameters will you pass to the display function? You can pass, yes, you can pass both the matrices or you can write a more efficient display function which displays one matrix at a time. And do we also need to pass number of rows and columns for that matrix? Number of rows and columns for the matrix. Is it necessary for displaying? See, for displaying we need only the matrix. We are displaying it in this fashion. So we need the matrix. So let us write, say display my matrix and write this code to display a matrix. I will cut it from here, paste it inside a display function, maintain proper indentations, and then call this display function over here. So display, and I'll pass my matrix 1, and similarly for the second matrix, what parameter will I pass to the matrix? Which matrix will I pass? Matrix 2. So for displaying, we are passing both the matrices. Okay, the screen sharing is stopped. Okay, I'll resume screen sharing. Yes. So display function is written over here, which accepts a matrix as an input parameter and the same code to display the matrix. So here use the same variable and in choice 1 call the display with matrix 1 and then call it with matrix 2 passed as input parameter. I'll run the program. Let us check whether it works properly. So number of rows, say 2 for the first matrix. These are the elements. For second matrix, suppose I want two rows and these are its elements, some random elements. And then choice 1, let us see, is the display function working correctly? Yes, when I press choice 1, display function was called with matrix 1 and matrix 1 is displayed. And then again display function was called with matrix 2 passed as input parameter and matrix 2 is displayed. And then I want to exit the program. Then stop. Have you understood this? Now we are able to read the matrix. Yes, screen sharing is not paused. Now I think it is resumed. So now you can write a program to display a matrix, to read two matrices from user, create matrix, read its values from user, and a menu driven program with functions to display a matrix. Have you understood? So can we write a similar function to add two matrices? Yes, how can we add two matrices? While adding two matrices, does matrix addition has any precondition about number of rows and columns for the matrix? Or we can add any two matrices? Yes. What can you say about number of rows and columns of a matrix for adding it? Or can we add any two matrices? Yes, what is the condition? Everybody, can you recall? Which two matrices can be added?
Matrices of same order.
Yes, number of rows and columns of all matrices which must be same, or can it be different? Everyone, do you recall this? We can add matrices only if they are of the same order. Does the same rule appear for subtraction? Yes, okay. So let us write a function to add and subtract, or we can do addition, add matrices. What and subtraction you can do as a homework. What will be input parameters for these matrices? Add matrice function. What must be the input parameters? Yes, Jay, correct. For multiplication, we have different clauses. For addition, what will be the input parameters to a function? We'll have both the matrices as input parameter, and we must also pass its number of rows and columns to check whether they are equal or they are not equal. And we'll also require a third matrix. Yes, to store the result of addition. We'll require a third matrix. Yes or no? Yes. To store the result of addition, we require a third matrix. Yes, correct. So we have matrix 1, we have matrix 2, and number of rows and columns which are supposed to be equal for both the matrices. Then I'll quickly create a third matrix. So you have to create a third matrix. Initialize it to 0. So let us say M1, M2 and M3 will be the matrix where we save the result of addition and subtraction. And here it will be rows, initializing the third matrix to 0. Then for R in range 0 to number of rows, for C in range, we'll use the same loop which we are using for inserting, see, while inserting we have used these loops for R in range 0 to number of rows, for C in range 0 to number of rows, and then add the matrices. For C in range 0 to number of columns, and here M3 of R, comma C equal to M1 R C plus M2 R C. Can I write it this way? Will this work? For every row in the matrices, both the matrices are passed. We assume its rows and columns are same. Create a third matrix whose dimensions will also be same. Initialize it to 0. Then for all elements in the matrix, add it with respective elements with matrix 2. Use the same for loop which we have used for insertion, and save the result in matrix 3 at the same position. And then display the resultant matrix. To display resultant matrix, we can use the same display function and pass M3 over there. You can have a print statement. Addition is, and then run the program. Okay, but I have not called the function. So here for choice 2, see, if choice is equal to 2, here we'll say it is for addition. You need to check if rows of M1 are same as rows of M2. If M1 rows are equal to M2 rows. And how do you write a logical AND operator? Will this work in Python? Do you recall M2 rows, M1 columns is equal to M2 columns? Then call the addition function. How have I named it? Okay, add matrices. M1, M2 and rows columns. So call the function add matrices and pass my matrix 1, comma my matrix 2 and rows and columns which are supposed to be same for both the matrices. Else, if rows and columns are not same, you can print a message, addition not possible. Yes, will this program work now? Will it work for addition? And how does the logical AND operator works? Do you recall? Will it work using AND operator? Yes, how does it works with Python? Do you recall this? Yes, tell me. So let us execute the program. So number of rows equal to say 2, we take a 2 by 2 matrix. So 1, 1, 1, 1. Number of rows for second matrix is also same. And suppose all elements are 2, 2, 2. I display those matrices first. Yes, matrices are entered correctly. Then add the matrices. Press enter. Okay. So there is something wrong with this. It is going into an infinite loop. So let me check. So stop. add matrices, rows, column, number of rows, number of columns. What is wrong in this? For R in range 0 to columns for yes. I think this is correct. What is wrong over here? Yes, both the conditions were true. Have I missed something? Yeah, these were same rows and columns, so both the matrices were same. Yes, have I missed something? Yes, can you check? Have I missed something? Okay. What is wrong over here? Yes, this thing was missing. Yes. This is not the correct this. Yes, let me check. Number of rows equal to number of columns. Matrix 1, matrix 2, and the columns inside addition. Addition is print. So safe side, let me print this here itself to check R and C to check whether it is executing. I am adding a print statement over here. Yes, screen is paused. Okay. The screen pauses over here. Whenever I have some network issues, the screen and recording pauses. Yes. Can you see the addition displayed in the screen? Addition is 3 and 3. So I don't know what was the problem. There must be some indentation issues which did not execute the program. Okay. So remove this print statement from here. So let us try it once more. Now I give different number of rows and columns. Second matrix. Okay. I'll give different number of rows and columns. So here one by one matrix, one number of rows and one number of columns, and entering the elements. Okay, there was some mistake over here. Yes. And then choice 2. Display the matrix. Yes, it displayed an error message. Addition not possible because number of rows and columns were different. It is not a 2 by 2 matrix. So message was displayed. Addition is not possible. Yes. Okay. So is this program clear? Will you be able to do subtraction on your own? Yes, will you be able to do subtraction on your own? Yes, just a minute. Where is my compiler? Yes. Will you be able to do subtraction on your own? Similar to addition, same thing. Instead of add, you have to put a minus sign, subtraction sign. Will you be able to do subtraction on your own? Yes, you can try it. And then I'll ask Madhuri madam to explain transpose of a matrix, multiplication and transpose of a matrix in the next term. So by next term, that is by Monday, every one of you must try this program. See, I'll again revise the program. We create a matrix represented as a sublist. Then accept number of rows and columns for each matrix. Initialize the matrix to 0. Then accept the values for each matrix using a for loop like this. Then have a menu driven program with choices like add, subtract, multiply, transpose and others. Have different functions written. So this is the display function where a matrix is passed as input parameter and you are displaying the matrix using a for loop. Then add matrix function is written. Your precondition to be checked is number of rows and columns of both matrices are same. If yes, call this function. Create a new matrix, initialize it with 0 and then perform addition using nested for loops. Display the resultant matrix. Yes, so this program, in today's lecture, we have seen this program which creates a matrix, displays the matrix, and performs addition of the matrix. In next lecture, Madhuri madam will explain you matrix multiplication and transpose. At home, you have to try this program and you have to try writing a function to subtract two matrices. I will upload this video on my YouTube channel. You can use that YouTube channel for further assignments or further lecture notes also.